Hello everybody, my name's James. Welcome to the Planet FPL Gameweek 6 Deadline stream in partnership with FPL Team, and it's live. Sorry I'm late, but this is me, content creator, going live while trying to look after a 4-year-old child who no doubt you will hear during the course of this stream. Before I get into your questions, I'll try and get as many as I can over the next 50 minutes or so. Let me take you through some of the details of the graphics. I don't think a lot need to be said on captaincy this week. This is not the week to take the big Norwegian on. My team's on screen. 2 transfers made for -4 on Tuesday evening. Doku and Alvarez in for Martinelli and João Pedro. You will see the benching dilemmas screen below me, where there's 2 players with a tick. The preferred player, the player with a tick is the preferred option to start. They run through in order of options, page 1 to 4. You also see with the captaincy my predictions for the game week rolling around as well. And to the bottom right hand corner of the screen, you will see my predicted lineups for all 20 teams this game week. Remember, it is a 1:30 p.m. deadline. That should cover off most of the graphics. I'm very conscious that a number of you have been waiting. If you're in live, smash a like, share the stream, hit the sub button, all that jazz. Right, let's get into it. I may be distracted during this one, but I will do my... He's barricaded in here, by the way, basically. JP says, hi James, pick one to drop out. Saka's son, Madison and Pedro. Pedro, mate. Ben Moxon would like everyone to hit that like button. Thank you, Ben. Voyas Verta says, hello, James. I really want to get Alvarez this week, but I already have 3 City. Shamu, Gvardiol or Foden to get him. Kabore if I sell Gvardiol. Diaby if I sell Foden. I'd leave it be, mate, to be totally honest, I think. Nigel Sam says, good luck, James. Would you do Watkins to Alvarez, Archer to Alvarez? Hold up. And bench Watkins / Madison or Chilwell to Trippier. I have 3.7 million in the bank. Should I roll the transfer? I'm benching Madison over Watkins, but there's a fan sentiment in that. Let's be really honest about it. Archer to Alvarez, on the face of it, fine if you think you're going to move to 3 up front. If not, don't think you should do it. Watkins to Alvarez, I think, comes down to how do you feel about Watkins, and are you sure that you don't want him for when Villa's fixtures come good, which is coming really soon. If you're sure that you don't want him, and you're like, oh, I want to go down the Diaby route, fine, move it on. But again, consider outcomes, and you may get to game week 8 and want to flip that backwards. That's all. But look, everybody's obviously really keen on getting Alvarez in. I completely understand that at the moment, and understand why you'd want to do it for free. I can't make huge cases not to do it. That said, I could have done it for free. It was my way of doing it to get Alvarez for free, and I decided to take the -4 option because I don't particularly personally want to lose Watkins. JP says 2 to start out of Estupinan, Gusto, Chilwell, Kabore. Estupinan, Gusto is what I'd be on there, mate. Bertica says, hello there, mate. Going to switch either Chilwell or Tarkowski for Botman for a free transfer. Both in bad teams. Chilwell, it seems, is now a minute's risk. Who should I sell? Cheers. You might find that Tarkowski is relatively useful for you for game weeks 7 and 8, so I'd probably prioritise selling Chilwell, actually. What No Graphic says, hello James, best Rico Henry replacement at 4.5, can't go higher. 4.5, I think the Brentford players are still in play there, aren't they? Ethan Pinnock is one I mentioned regularly a few weeks ago, and that's fine, subject to your rotations elsewhere. Obviously, Botman's now off the table to you. A note, by the way, and I'd rather be keen on seeing if he plays again tonight to be sure on what the status is on Dara O'Shea, but Charlie Taylor dropped to 3.9, suddenly back in the team on Monday night ahead of the double game week, is now right potentially on agenda for myself next week. Van Heck, maybe, but that's a big rotation risk, I think. If people keep selling Gabriel, that'd be useful. I'll be buying Gabriel in the coming weeks. I think people keep selling him the way they are. Dan Burn is another option. It's not like the best Newcastle choice, but that's probably a decent one at your restricted price value. Other than that, I think maybe just Pinnock, mate. You were happy to go Henry, so maybe it's just Pinnock. JP says, how do you envisage the North London derby going tactically? I think we'll give them problems on occasions. You can probably see my prediction on the screen that I think Arsenal will probably end up winning comfortably, though I'm not assured that the game will be comfortable for them. We'll give them some tactical challenges. I think Pedro Porro's positioning is the one to really look out for tomorrow. If he drifts into right-sided 10 half spaces and what Arsenal are going to do to counter that, I suspect they'll just have Gabriel go into him and Saliba will pick up Richarlison or Son, whoever starts up front for Tottenham. That's how I think they'll probably try and get around it. That's the big tactical nuance. What we don't really know yet is how Tottenham will be able to deal with Arsenal defensively. Let's be honest, Manchester United should have scored against Spurs in the first half in game week 2. A little bit fortuitous to get away with it. This is a real different challenge. I don't think it'll be 0-0. Let me put it that way. MRCX says, hello James, who to bench out of Sterling, Jackson, Mitoma. My head-to-head opponent is probably going to field Mitoma. Well, do you want to take that on or do you want to make sure that you cover that off? That's really important to you individually. I would probably pick Sterling over Jackson. And yeah, there's a chance Mitoma doesn't play, obviously, but I wouldn't be keen on benching it as per my selection on screen this week. Vivek Gore says, hi James, had 2 free transfers but moved early to avoid being priced out of a move for Alvarez and Mbumo. Have Bowen dilemma now. Should I take a -4 and get Sterling or any other mid or just roll? Have 0.7 in the bank. Jared Bowen is likely to be a very, very good differential for you, I think, in coming weeks. I imagine he'll play at Liverpool tomorrow. Yes, he missed Thursday night. He wouldn't have played Thursday night anyway, but he missed out because of a virus. Like, you and I, how long's a piece of string in terms of what his recovery is like? It's almost impossible to say, isn't it? But I go to Sterling now. That would be of no interest to me. And that's not to say Sterling owners should smash him out and sell him. I'm not saying that. But I wouldn't be buying at this moment in time. MRCX says, any news on Chilwell? It's whether I play him or cash today. There's none, mate. There's none. I saw some strange FPL comments yesterday, but I can't believe no one asked him about Ben Chilwell. It's the biggest deal at the moment. It's not. Chelsea's just general play is a way bigger deal to the general press rather than is Chilwell going to play for FPL. So there was nothing yesterday. As far as I know, his name wasn't even mentioned in the press conference. So there's nothing to tell you. It's up to Pochettino whether he picks him or Mudryk. My honest assumption, actually that's not true, not assumption. My honest guess is that Mudryk will play again, and you'll see that when it's just spun round. It will come back around. I've got Chelsea unchanged from the draw with Bournemouth. Adam says, if you had to predict Spurs front 3, James, what would it be? Please, no Sonny back on the left. I think will probably be unchanged, but I'll be very honest, if Richarlison starts, it'd be zero surprise. Absolutely none. So, where I sat here this time last week and went, yeah, look, 80% Son through the middle, that's at like 60% now. So, he absolutely could move. Ben Moxham says, hello mate, hope you're well. Would you go Foden or Doku as a 2-week punt? I'd go Foden. Reason I went Doku, I got 0 in the bank, so it was never a kind of debate for me, but yeah, I'd have gone Foden, mate. JP says, Sky question, Chilwell to what Newcastle defender? Trip's bit too expensive. Then if you must, Ben, and to be honest, I wouldn't really be keen on any of them defensively. I mean, it's Pope, really, is the correct answer. But it'd have to be Share, wouldn't it, mate? Do you know what? I'll be totally honest with you, Ben. I couldn't even tell you what Fabian Scher's price was. That's how little interest I'd have. Because even with these fixtures, it just won't hit passing tiers regularly enough for you. Emily Sissoni says, hey, James, who would you start out, Chilwell or Kabore? I'd still go Chilwell. If Chilwell, how would you order a bench of Kabore, Archer and Udogie? Yeah, like that, as you've written it. Andy Max says, hi James, would you do Watkins to Wilson for free this week? Would have to bench Madders or Sterling? I love these sort of questions, Andy, because would I? Well, I could have, and I haven't. So the answer is no. No, I wouldn't. I would play Sterling over Maddison. I haven't put Sterling on the bench in dilemmas because I was under enough assumption that with a home game, most people would just stick him in. That's generally my take. It's a much harder fixture for Tottenham. I would play Sterling. Navin McGunnan says, hi James, is Ramsdale an immediate transfer out or wait and see situation? Who would be the rest replacement if he needs to go? Areola, my second goalkeeper. I mean, look, that's the main one, is you've got Areola, and that will set you up quite nicely. Do you know what I'd do, in all seriousness? I'd wait, and if Turner has a bad day today, you might find this time next week that Turner's 3.9, and I'd just go with that, and I'd just play Areola every week. That would be my... If I was wildcarding now, I think I'd just go Areola, Turner. Sod it. Cheap it out. Noah Willett says, hi James, Rich Chilwell will start Gabriel, thanks. Well, I've gone Saliba over Chilwell, and I think Gabriel actually is probably a better option, just generally speaking. A little bit more threat from set plays. So I'd play Gabriel, mate. Andy says, hi mate, one more. Is it worth swapping Chilwell or Gvardiol to a new cost defender this week, or do you think both will play? Cheers, buddy. Yeah, I'd probably make a change in your case, because there's every chance it's neither play. I mean, with Chilwell, it's very unlikely he wouldn't get on the pitch. In Gvardiol's case, it's kind of flip a coin whether it's probably him or Nathan Ake plays. And if he doesn't start, there's every chance he won't get on potentially. I have got Gvardiol in my predicted City lineup, but yeah, I'd be quite tempted to potentially flip that. What I think I'd do with that, Andy, is I'd flip Chilwell out. I'd flip Chilwell because in Gvardiol's case, like if he's in a team, you definitely want to play him, don't you? Project FPL says, hey James, with some content, play Stupinan on Morris. Stupinan is straightforward for me, mate. Marcus Wyatt says, all the best for tomorrow, James. Thank you. Steve says, thanks for the rationale for my Watkins Alvarez question. Yes, they really helped put things into perspective. Let's hope my decision to hold pays off. Good luck, my friend. Subet's blog says, start and Ketcher or Sarr. Look, I've got Jesus predicted to come back in for Arsenal tomorrow, but in that situation, I would still start and Ketcher. What's your chance of Sarr returns? More chance of Nketiah's returning in the final half hour than there is of Sarr in the 90. Let's be honest. MRCX says, hey James, have you already eyed up a transfer for next week? Yeah, Chilwell to Burnley defender is the plan, and it's not because of the double next week. It's because I don't want a wild card in the next few weeks. I think Burnley cover me off much better, building up towards sort of game week 18. I've got a really good run, sort of game week 10 to 16 or so. There's a nice rotation with things like Tottenham. So say like when Tottenham go to Man City, Burnley got Sheffield United at home. So I'm looking at things like that. Like I said, if I'm in a position where I think Charlie Taylor looks assured after this weekend to continue at left back, that's probably where I'll go. Jordan Bayer obviously for 0.1 more, but yeah, that's the plan. But look, you get an injury somewhere else in the team, and that could obviously change. If Ben Chilwell starts for Chelsea tomorrow and does well, I look at that as less of a priority. It might even be that I decide, right, this Stupinan to one of these guys instead, for example. So, yeah, open-minded, but yeah, if I had to make a transfer right now for next week, it would be Chilwell to a Burnley defender. Mitchell Joseph says, hi James, who do you think is the best under 5 million defender for the next few weeks? What's few? What's that? 3 weeks? It's Newcastle's, isn't it? So, I mean, it's Botman. Sorry, it's boring shit answer, but I think that's the right answer. JP says, what is going on with Poch? Why is playing the best centre-back at passing left-back 3 CDMs every game, leaving Sterling and Jackson so isolated up top? I warned Chelsea fans it would take months in pre-season. Not got a lot more to add. Patrick Lawson says, afternoon, James. I've already done Martinez and Bumo this week. Would you use the second free transfer on Jackson to Alvarez, Chill to Trippier, both for a hit? Not both for the hit, I don't think. That it depends, right? With Jackson, we all know it's well documented. The underlying data is pretty good. Could he do better than Alvarez this week? Yeah, sure. Are you planning to get rid of him in coming weeks anyway? Do you want Alvarez long term? Is it short term? If you get Trippier, what's the impact on that in, say, if you want to get Mo Salah in or Heung-min Son in the next few weeks, and perhaps you can't afford it if you go Trippier? That's the one warning I keep making over and over again on Trippier. He's and Trippier will be like the best defender over the next 4 or 5 weeks, you would think, right? Just check that it doesn't kill you in terms of future moves, because if it does, for me, I would not be going down that route, and that's why I can't go down that route at the moment, because it's going to kill me. I'm not sure if I'm going to end up with Mo or not, but I'm getting a plan in place to make sure that I can, and therefore Trippier can't be considered for me under that. It just breaks too much. If you're on a wild card and you're setting it up, you know, Trippier, Salah, Haaland, Alvarez, and it works and stuff, yeah, cool. Obviously, crack on. But if you're buying Trippier, just check that out. So on the face of it, Patrick, I think, to be honest, I probably would have gone Jackson to Alvarez, I think, personally. Uros Milicevic says, hi, James. Watkins, Gabriel, and Chilwell to Alvarez, Botman, and Trippier from -4. Good luck this week. Again, is that quite so necessary? So, Chilwell to Botman and Watkins to Alvarez, if that's what you want to do, for 2 threes, absolutely fine. Leave the money spare, give yourself a bit of headspace. And again, exactly as I just said for Patrick's question, consider the impact if you get Trippier. Kenneth Faz says, do you think taking out Maddison for Foden in for -4 for 2 weeks is madness? Wildcard in game week 8. Wouldn't bother. Madders is consistent, isn't he? Like, even me and my emotional attachments, obviously Tottenham, doesn't like looking at him on my bench for this week. So no, I wouldn't bother. You might get one more game out of Maddison for a start. John Harris says, sell Chilwell with Stupinan or Porro to Trippier. Wouldn't sell Porro. Sell Chilwell. Again, as previously said, John. James Brennan says, hi James, Aki, Saliba or Chilwell to Botman. It's going to be... There's a lot less Alvarez questions than I was expecting. A lot more, let's bin Chilwell and other fires defensively. Depends if you need Aki this week or not. But if I was sitting there with that, it'd be Chilwell for me to go, mate. Sean says, afternoon, James. 2 questions. Start Gabriel, Doggy. Currently on Gabriel. Agreed. And if you were selling one of Watkins or Sterling this week, which one? Thanks. Sterling for me, mate. FPL Invincible says, hi, James. Do you think it's worth taking a hit and selling Son/Sterling from Boomo? Second question, do you think it's worth selling Chilwell, Saliba for Botman? Also for a hit. It's a no on both, mate, for me. Could be looking at those sort of things. I'm not. So, no. Son, just like rewind 7 days to what I said about considering outcomes. Right. He's very capable, okay, wherever he plays. It's less attractive from the left, but seek more information. It's the flip, right? And I said this on one of the streams I did yesterday. Like this time last week, I was saying, right, consider the worst case scenario with Son. What if he blanks? What if he goes back on the left? Now think of it, now as an owner, you want to think about it the other way. Right, what if it goes the other way? What if Son does stay through the middle? What if he scores against Arsenal? What if he does well against Liverpool? He'll be the most popular captain against Luton in game week 8 under that circumstance, if that happens. And I'm not saying it will, obviously. But then now we're flipping it on its head. We've gone from consider a negative bias to now potentially consider a positive bias. It's just to open your mind and your thinking. So, no, I wouldn't be selling. Sterling, I'd be fairly happy to move on, to be honest. But he's, and Boomo over the next 3 isn't better than Sterling over the next 3, in my opinion. So I wouldn't bother. And, Botman, what do we expect from Botman this week? 6 points? I'm actually backing Sheffield United to score, by the way. 6 points? That worth a hit? It's not. James Brennan says, hi James, where would you put Garnacho on the bench in dilemmas? I don't think it's start, mate. Pretty low. Pretty low. Above Udogi, above Kabore, probably there. Probably after Chilwell, to be totally honest. Daniel Cullerton says, I own Diaby and Chilwell. Would unstart both or punt on Kabore and bench one? Cheers, mate. What's interesting about this one with Chilwell against Diaby or Chilwell against Watkins, right? Let's be honest. Chilwell's in there for your offensive stuff anyway. Otherwise, you wouldn't have bothered with him in the first place. So can they both return? That's different to say, bad example, but if you was to go Botman and Archer, selecting them both this week, like the chance of them both returning, and I know, to be fair, Sheffield United do have a bit of a set piece problem, but wouldn't. Nah, I'd just play the 2 better players, to be totally honest, in that one. Didn't matter what I did this week. I'd have had Maddison against Saliba or Watkins against Gusto. Didn't matter what I did. I was gonna, obviously I could go Chilwell over Saliba, right, and then go Maddison over Watkins, and then I'm an all in. But nah, not this week. MRCX says, what's your favourite Spurs kit of all time? First one I had, I suppose, so 1991, which was obviously 89-90 as well. The old Hummel kit, Gascoigne, Lineker, classic, isn't it? So in terms of a more recent one, away kits, I really liked 2000-2001 away kit. We had navy blue, it was a great kit. I'm actually taking Harry down the shop after this to Tottenham. I might buy him the away shirt if they've got it in a size that's suitable for him. He won't want it, but he's getting it. Heather says, hey James. Hey Heather. Reese says, hey James, how does Pickford to Pope and Chilwell to Share sound? Currently no Newcastle into wildcard around game week 8-9. Thanks, keep up the great work. Sounds fine, but as long as it's just the 2 threes, Reese, wouldn't be taking a hit for it. Ashton says, hey James, have 2 free transfers, which are Chilwell or Saliba to Trippier, and should also do Bowen to Doku, Diaby, keep Bowen. It's going to be repetitive, this guys. So I can see me skipping a lot of questions the way this is going. It'd be sell Chilwell for me, and I'd be holding Bowen. Jerry Dharma Yu says, hello James, who will you go between Anderson, Palace and Cash? Both tempting but difficult to pick one for wild card. Yeah, I'd go Cash, but with the caveat of I'm not convinced he stays in the team longer term. Not convinced about it at all once Moreno comes back in. Really not. And I know he played as a really offensive right back last week, and if that continues, that's brilliant. Or if he stays on the right hand side of midfield, that's great. But with Conference League started now as well, you've got Bailey wants games, you've got Zaniolo wants games. Diaby, remember, by the way, and there's been some talk about John Duran this week. Diaby can play wide as well, no problem at all. He's happy to use McGinn in wide positions. Jacob Ramsey is back fit and could even come into the team tomorrow. So, yeah, there's a lot of questions there, but I would still, even with that in mind, probably still go Cash over Anderson, to be totally honest. But it also depends on your rotations, right? You might be really convinced by Anderson because you're like, I can use him this week, that's good. Or I can use him in Game Week 8, that's good. So it does depend what other players you're going as well. Like, neither are bad picks. Like, Anderson's fine as a rotational option. Ben Keane says, hello James, hope you had a good week. Are you doing any transfers of Sky this week? And if not, who are you looking to replace? To be totally honest, I've not had a huge look at it since Wednesday night. I will, once he goes to bed tonight, have a proper look down at it. There's a few possibilities. Dunk to Saliba if Dunk is out. Edison to Pope is a possibility as well. But it might be, I've got Mo in place already, so it might be that I don't do anything. Drew Howard says, hi James, would you prefer going to Alvarez for free or Jackson or a -4 for Pedro? Would require bringing 2 Newcastle defenders for Chilwell and Saliba. Why does everybody want to get rid of their Arsenal defenders? Am I missing something here? I realise it's a difficult run coming up, but I look at things like Chelsea away in 9, and it's quite an awkward week anyway, I think, for defensive assets. Just play him. It's only really City at home you feel uncomfortable with. Even Newcastle away in 11 and kept a clean sheet there last year. One of the best teams in the league. I've mentioned the idea of getting Gabriel in the next few. Now I've sold Martinelli, I'm wondering about going double Arsenal defence in the near future, around about game week 10 possibly. So I realise the fixtures are tough. I realise a lot of people probably don't expect a clean sheet this weekend against Tottenham. Like, I get that, but one of the best teams in the league, and that kind of makes them like capable any time. So again, I wouldn't be selling. Okay, again, it's probably fan bias, but I don't have a problem with Saliba sitting there in my team this week, is my take. I would move Jackson for free, probably, Drew. Keith Redfield says, should I change out Sterling for Doku? Ready to catch Chilwell for Botman? No. Adam, very surprised you don't think Villa score against Chelsea. What's the thinking behind that? Thursday, Sunday football. And to be honest, Chelsea defence have been fine, right? They've been fine. Let's reflect on it. So, clean sheet at Bournemouth last week. Conceded a stupid goal to Nottingham Forest before that. What did they have in game week 3? Kept a clean sheet against Luton. Game week 2 against West Ham. Some sloppy moments, particularly later in the game, and they conceded a goal from set piece, and West Ham were monsters from set pieces. So, like, defensively, they've been alright. So, yeah, sure. Chelsea have had a week to prepare. Villa won't have obviously got back till... They might have got back late Thursday night, but preparation's different. And it just becomes a slog, Thursday, Sunday football. And look, to counter that, in the fact that I'm predicting Chelsea to win 1-0 tomorrow, Suja's predicted Villa to win 3-1, right? So you've got two very varying examples there of what me and Suj think will happen tomorrow. I'm going to give Chelsea the edge. Like, I don't think they've been that bad. Scoring's the problem, right? Defensively, if they're all right, yeah, I'm going to back them 1-0. I still would be very uncomfortable to take Watkins out of my 11 despite that prediction. Hand in the nookie jar. Hi James, I transferred in Sonny and Cher. Iconic double act. What could go wrong? You lose your voice. Rob says, here's a virtual tenner free bet. Who's going to be the top point scorer this week? Thanks for the content. Cheers. The big Norwegian, probably. If not, Alvarez. Kartik Rao says, balled up to Botman on a -4. Don't love it, but if you haven't got anything that can play, If you've got anything that can play, I just think I'd bother, mate. Don't think I'd bother. -4 for Botman. And I get it. Like, longer term, like, it's obviously a good move. But can you make it just for free next week and just leave this week? That's the question. And if you can't, and it's a long-term play, fine, get it done. Neil Kagan says, hi James, no questions, just thanks for the great content. Wishing you and the family a great weekend. Thank you very much. By the way, guys, about 25% of you in the stream have smashed a like. Doesn't cost anything. It'd be very much appreciated. We are circa 26 minutes from deadline. Mr. Dyer says, what do you think about Chilwell to a Newcastle defender for free transfer? And what Newcastle defenders think is best? The best is Trippier, but God, how many times have I got to repeat this? Consider future moves if you go Trippier. So I would be going Botman, me personally. Mr. CX says, good luck this week. Have a great time with your boy. Thank you very much. Noel Brennan says, morning, James. How are you babysitting you? Let's be honest with Mam away. In Sky, would you transfer out Dunk with injury concern? Have Burnley and Brentford cover already? No. I don't know the answer to that, no. My instinct is that Dunk probably does play. I've mentioned about maybe just sucking it up and saying might have been a mistake to move Saliba on a couple of weeks ago and go back there potentially. Sam Routledge says, 180 people watching the stream. Liking it should be the first thing you do when you get here. Listen, it's a lot more than that watching now, Sam. That's how far behind the chat I am. JP says, why would you start Mads over Pedro? 30 mins versus Bournemouth is still good if it comes to it. Okay. Mads got 90 minutes most definitely against Arsenal. So, with no idea what the Brighton selection is going to be this week. He's frustrating as hell. It's quite comfortably a 1 point in theory, isn't it? Of course he can go off. Sure, he scored at Old Trafford last week. If you think Pedro's a better choice than Maddison, you pick Pedro. Snicko says, hey James, bench one of Maddison, Sterling and Jackson. I pick the Chelsea players. Wavy says, good afternoon, mate. Removed previous questions, mentioned Dylan Ransted. Cheers, best of luck Spurs this weekend. Appreciate that, pal. Thank you. Lee Sherwood says, hey man, went Mitoma to Mbeumo and Henry to Botman after De Zerbi comments on rotation. Hope you're Arsenal players. I hope they both get sent off, mate. Toby Evanson says, hey James, good luck for the week. Visitor Alvarez for -4. Is that just foolish? Hit the like button. Wouldn't bother, mate. Wouldn't bother. We've got to Everton at home and Forest away, and we decided we're going to move Vista now. I'd leave him be for the next two. System, they'll go back to back four, and that should help as well. Dan the Fishman says, too risky going Foden over Alvarez, considering switch Saka to Foden. I've no real intention to get rid of Bukayo Saka at any point until he gets sent off tomorrow, in which case I'd be very happy to sell him, especially if it's a free game ban. So no, I wouldn't be keen on moving on Saka. Is it risky going Foden over Alvarez? It's risky going Alvarez over Foden. Clearly an Alvarez haul is going to hurt you a little bit more than a Foden haul at the moment, but yeah, look, as I said earlier, Doku came in. If I could have gone Foden, I'd have gone Foden, mate. Emery Kappa, Chilwell to Trippier for -4. Emery, I'm sure you've heard my opinion on this sort of thing already, so I'm going to skip. Torfig says, hi James, nice curtains. Yeah, it's what it is. Who to bench? March, Jota and Mbeumo. You ain't benching Mbeumo at home to Everton, are you? Reluctantly Solly March. I don't have him in. Mind you, I don't have Jota in my predicted lineup either. But yeah, reluctantly Solly March. Defenders who to bench: Chilwell, Gusto, Walker, Chilwell. Graph P says, hi James, hello Graph. Shout out FPL Goal Galonzo and James, hope you're well. MRCX, cheers for the stream, James, very welcome. Brandon says, play Watkins or Sterling. It's in capital letters, so I'm going to skip it, mate. The answer is Sterling. FPL Goal Galotzo, good afternoon James, have a great game week. I'm not welcome on anytime soon and can't afford Salah. Luis Diaz or Dominic Szoboszlai for Liverpool coverage when the fixtures turn. I mean, Diaz, if that's the route you're going to go down. But prepare for rotation hell is all I'm saying on that. Chims in says, Maddison or Andreas start at Madders. Ryan Terry says, would you sell Chilwell or Colwell to Botman, or would have to play the other? How much use is either of those two players to you over the next couple of weeks? Like, what's the impact of that? In terms of having to play the other, Colwell's a bit dull as dishwater though, isn't it? I'd be a bit gutted losing a potential clean sheet there, considering I'm predicting this. I'm going to say just take the Chilwell problem away. FPL Red says Foden starts. Okay, thanks for the info. I've not been checking any news or anything, but I'll have my patrons on the lookout, and if we get any info, share it for us. Be much appreciated, patrons. Okay, City Extra coming via Lazy FPL. Thank you, Cullum Con. Julian Alvarez and Phil Foden both start for Manchester City versus Nottingham Forest. FPL Heisenberg has also said Ruben Diaz and Erling Haaland start according to him as well. So the information would appear to be, it's not going to come as surprises to anyone because City is short of options. Diaz, Foden, Alvarez, Haaland, we think all start for City. Yeah, it's not a lot to add on that. Thank you, Michael B. Just remember to just give me a tag on that so I can know. So, patrons, yeah, if there's anything additional on City or any of the other 5 teams playing at 3 o'clock, drop us a tag on Slack and I can obviously share it with the guys in here. Music Maestro says, sell Chilwell for Botman. Yeah, sure. God almighty. Daniel Cullerton says, how many chocolate have you had to give Harry to bribe him to be quiet all stream? My daughter would be a nightmare. He's been good, isn't he? But we just had a big play before we started. Went toilet. He's just demolished crumpets and some crisps. So he should be quite happy. I'm not going to repeat the word that you said. Oh, shit, I already said it, didn't I? Because then he'll be like, chocolate? No, he's actually doing quite well, isn't he? He's had a really good couple of weeks at school. He's doing good. Michael Hare says, hi, James. In Sky, would you transfer out Onana? I have no Nottingham Forest, Brentford, Luton or Burnley. No, not with the fixtures coming up, to be honest. And I don't think, other than maybe Flecken, I don't think the keepers are great options from those teams, and you wouldn't be buying Flecken this week anyway because they're playing on the same day. So no, I'd leave him at the moment. Get a bit more info on that. Michael Hare says that's what we've done. Cole MCC says, hey James, start Maddison or Morris, start Saliba or Colwell. Colwell over Saliba, Maddison over Morris. Dave Lister says Colwell, Doggy, who should start? I'm going to say Colwell, mate. The Waddler GG, which West Ham defender would you prefer? The cat kicker, reluctantly, is the right answer, which is Kurt Zuma, if you're not aware. Alex Lee says, fab content, James, thank you. On wildcard, Flecken or Brave, Raya with Areola. Areola would definitely be going in for me, mate. So, and Flecken. Flecken would be the answer for me, mate. Because I just think you'd be comfortable playing Areola regularly enough. You've got Gabriel's cheaper than Raya. Always going to be shortly by the looks of the way the market continues to move. Adrian4500 says, one transfer have 0.9 million. Chilwell, Colwell, Baldock, Stupin and Ruben Diaz. Consider Chilwell to Trippier, 0 million then in the bank. And then he's put can't, but I don't know if he's just... I don't know if he put the wrong letter and meant to put a U in and was just being aggressive. Again, Adrian, consider future moves. Does Trippier kill you for things in weeks to come? Like if you want to get Liverpool, Villa, West Ham, Tottenham, whatever that is, Newcastle, even different Newcastle, whatever that is in coming weeks, does getting Kieran Trippier kill you of that? Will Kieran Trippier will he likely be the best scoring FPL defender over the next 4 or 5 weeks? Yeah, sure. But it'll be straight after him, probably Sharon Botman. William Tejega says, hi James. Hello, William. Odran says, is transferring Region completely brain dead or worth it as a mad punt? I don't hate it as long as it's short-term thinking. What I mean by short-term, I mean probably say up till the Manchester Derby, which is game week 10. I think beyond that's probably a little risky. But over the next 4, you should be all right. Is he capable of playing Champions League and Premier League? That's not going to be a huge problem over the next 4 weeks or so. It's only really going to be between 7 and 8, and I think United have Saturday games either side, so you should be all right there. To be totally honest, you should be all right. I don't hate it. It's not terrible. It's shit. Gary Robinson would tell you shit. I don't particularly hate it because the fixtures are good, right? Daniel Edwards says, Chilwell and Morris to what, mate? To buy, to sell, to bench. Borges11 says, I have to bench one of his Stupin, Gvardiol, Pinnock and Botman. Which one? Keep up the great work, mate. God. You've landed nicely there, haven't you? Pinnock's actually the only one I'm backing for a clean sheet there. And yet that feels like the right answer, maybe. Cool, that's tough. I wouldn't bench Estupiñán. I know he's a concern of rotation, but I wouldn't bench him. I wouldn't be comfortable benching City. Oh, the answer's still Pinnock, you know. God. I would, I think. Just wouldn't be comfortable leaving any of those other three out instead. Listen, that's a good spot to be in, I would say, this week. Shaffin says, hi, James. Would you do Watkins to Alvarez for free this week if you're not sure about wildcard in 8, 9 or 10? No. If I was sure that I was going to wildcard over that period, then I'd say yes. No. Again, I could have made that move for free. I took an alternative route that was a -4. William De Jager says, with Isak starting over Wilson and vice versa in the Prem, would you consider moving Isak to Alvarez this week? I've got Isak in my predicted team for tomorrow. And I realise that's a minority opinion. But I think Isak starts tomorrow rather than Wilson. So, no, I wouldn't. But I also think it's a headache that's coming up. But you've just got to the Newcastle good fixtures. Now you want to move? I don't know. Harry! My little prince. Thank you. Jussie says, hi James. Maddison to Rashford or Jackson to Alvarez or roll and play Chilwell over Maddison. I'd go Jackson to Alvarez, I think. Dave Brown says, hi James. Who is a good 2-week midfield punt on wildcard? Looking at Foden, Trossard, anyone else? 2 week. I'd be a bit concerned about Trossard for next week, not this week. Just we don't really know enough about the Martinelli situation. Yeah, Foden. Ben M, just thanks. Cheers, Ben. MB says, hey, mate, thanks for your time and insights. You reckon Anderson Luton is nailed now? No, I don't. No, I don't at all, actually. I think if you want the nailed 4.0, it's probably Burke. Kelzan K says, and I don't think that's nailed, his first choice. Kelzan K says, hi, James. Hello. Cameron Ransom says, I've got both Turner and Areola. Who would you play? Areola. Dally Paul says, hi James, Alvarez triple captain this week. Would you play Luis Diaz, played 90 in Europa League, or Archer Diaz? And I've got in my predicted Liverpool lineup, to be honest. Kelzang, Harry, can we play quiet game? Shh. Thank you. Kelzang K says, start 1, Kabori, Awoniyi, Archer, Awoniyi. Mish, unless you've got a City defender. In which case, I'd maybe reconsider that. Mish Rahman says, 2-week punt, Doku, Trossard, Foden, or straight to Maddison. Please advise. Great as always, hit that like button. What you got to consider with that is, does that mean if you want to get the Maddison for, say, 8, does that mean you're going to have to incur a -4 further ahead? So again, it's about forward planning. Use a brilliant tool like FPL Team. It's a partner of this stream for a reason. It is the perfect tool for your FPL plan. I mean that genuinely. It's the best tool in the FPL community as far as I'm concerned is FPL Team. So just check ahead. So for example, if you're not going Maddison now, but you're going to go to Gameweek 8 and it means you're going to spend a -4 then you need these 2 boys to, or whichever one you go for, to be getting, to be honest, make that worthwhile significantly more than 5 more than Maddison over the next 2 weeks. So that has to come into the thinking. Now, if it's, I can still get Maddison for free, then I would punt Foden without question. Andrew says, hi James, Watkins to Wilson or Hoyland or keep? It's a keep for me. Alexander Famil says, Colwill or Pinnock on the bench? Colwill. Fred says, good luck this week. Is it viable to go without his Estupiñán and wildcard? Do you think he starts? Great content. I do think he starts. I think we all seem to have forgotten that it's Carabao Cup in midweek. Don't see Estupiñán not playing tomorrow. Oh, he's going to play Chelsea on Wednesday in the Carabao and then play in the league and then play in Europe afterwards, then play in the league again. The break's probably coming midweek. So do think he starts, but is it viable to go without him? Yeah, absolutely. Jonathan says, on 89 minutes last week, I bet you were wishing you took old mate's offer to go and learn how to tie knots over in Croydon. No, mate. Tottenham's my church, mate. At 98 minutes, I might have been. No, I wasn't. I've just remembered what you're talking about now as well. Tie knots in Croydon, yeah. No. I love being in my church, mate. Kia Morrison says, Kia Ora, James. Kia Ora. Sweet. Maybe. I don't know. Jackson or Maddison. Already playing Haaland and Alvarez. Cheers. I presume that's a start choice, so Jackson. Dave M says, Jackson, Martinelli to Alvarez and Diaby for -4. You don't hate it. FPL News says, hey James, hope you're well. What would you think of Dunkter and Bumo in Sky today without courage for Forest v Brentford? Come back to it, mate. Regret it, I think, if Dunk starts tomorrow. If Dunk was going to go, really, it was last week. Now, of course, if he's injured for a while, then that changes the game. But, no, I wouldn't be doing it, mate. To be honest, wouldn't be doing it. George says, triple City attack on wildcard. Phil, Julian and Erling. Macaulay C says, what do you think of Wilson as a punt for next 2-3 weeks? Look, I think both him and Isak are exactly that. They're punts who will probably get returns by sheer virtue of Newcastle's fixtures rather than sheer virtue of starts. They are going to get rotated. Don't be surprised if one of, Isak starts tomorrow and then Wilson starts Burnley, for example. Don't be surprised if that sort of thing happens, for example. So I'm not massively keen when I've got others there who, Alvarez is cheaper. As a punt, sure. You asked him as a punt, cool. Go for it. Adrian says, really considering Chilwell to Trippier, 1 free transfer and 0 million in the bank. Sam Di Bartolo says, Alvarez captain over Haaland. There's no real need to do it, to be totally honest, mate. Sicilian FPL said, James, what did you make of the Milan v Newcastle game if you saw it? I did, yeah. I can't say I was fully engaged in the second half, but I watched all the first half in peace. You should have won, mate. Milan were good, bar kind of final efforts on goal. Carson Schaefer says start Szoboszlai versus Hammers or Morris versus Wolves. Morris, penalty taker. Owen Jones says, I'm on Morris and I'm looking at Solanke as my get-off free soft fixtures. What do you think of this as a cheaper differential than moving to Watkins? So I presume you're saying, Owen, from Gameweek 8. Well, you'll be delighted to know that Neil Grover is joining me for Clash of Correspondence this Monday, previewing Bournemouth versus Arsenal. More on the schedule in 10 minutes, guys, to deadline. Make sure you begin to get those teams locked in. And Owen has clarified, yes, after game week 7. Mish Rahman says, who'd start this week? Kabori, Van Hockey, or Udogi? Van Hockey. Van Hockey is real underestimated talent who I think is in for a 12-pointer this week. Who do we think Van Hockey is? Is it Van der Ven? It's not going to be Van der Ven, is it? Who's Van Hockey? I don't know who that is. I'm trying to think of Vans. Oh, it's going to be Van Heck, isn't it? Van Heck. Van Heck. Yeah, I would start Van Heck. I don't think he starts, but that's who I'd play anyway. Because he probably doesn't come off the bench in that scenario. Stade Alexander says, James, Ivy, Doggy and Madders starting with Son captained. My God, I wish I had your confidence. Saka is sat on the bench behind Kabori and you're not stopping me. Good luck. Play it your way, mate. Sebastian Castro, I hope it goes mental, and you're right, mate. Sebastian Castro says on wildcard, would you go for Son, Maddison, punt, or Doco, or keep Sterling? I'm not reading your midfield. Good. It's a long-winded question, Sebastian, mate. Thank you. I'd go Maddison, mate. I hope you have a lovely day too as well, my friend. Thank you. Just really long-winded to read out, mate. Sorry. Lucas Perrier says, hey, James, on wildcard, punt on Neto for a week against Luton. Who do I pick instead of Son? Son is making me pick Burn over Share. Thinking of picking Trippier and doing Son to Mitoma. Thanks. Wouldn't go near Neto. Sure. Yeah. Most chances created in the league. Whoopie doop. Like literally. No interest in that at all. Son is making me pick Burn over Share. And who do I pick instead of Son? Oh, you're on wildcard. Maddison. Save the money. Controller says Jackson, João Pedro, Jackson. Cosmos says, hey, Jans, if I don't have a set plan on when to use wildcard, which goalkeeper is the best replacement for either Turner or Pickford over the next game weeks? Areola, longer term, mate. Volva9 says, hi, James, what do you think of Botman, Sherry, Stupinone, Doggy, Cash, defence and wildcards? Fine. But when I got to read that many names out, I kind of stopped listening to myself. FPL Golgolotso says, smash the like button, you mags. Smash the like, you mugs. No updated further team news as yet. Patrons, if we get anything, if you can tag us, be appreciated. Daniel Lund says bench one of Diaby, Bowen or João Pedro. Pedro. Probably, yeah. Onion Heart 1 says, afternoon, James, in Sky, Chilwell and Awoniyi to Mbumo and Bayer. No, wouldn't be making them moves today, mate. Wouldn't be making them moves. Chain your moves. Start making transfers tomorrow, mate. Jack Wild says Maddison or Foden on wildcard. I mean, it depends, right? I would go Foden and move to Maddison in 8, maybe. If you're not going to put that as part of your plan, then just Maddison. Relic Return says double up on Chilwell and Colwell or sell one to share. Yeah, Chilwell to share, fine. Manaf says Watkins to Alvarez. Yeah, sure. Steve Liss says hi, is Stupinan or Chilwell? Thanks. Okay, thanks James B. FPL newsletter saying Gvardiol starts. So that would be Gvardiol starting, Diaz starting, Foden, Alvarez, Haaland. There's no massive shocks on that front. I presume Nathan Ake owners should take particular notes of that. Doesn't mean that he doesn't definitely start, because it could be that it's Ake over a Kanji, right? But yeah, that's the word from FPL newsletter. Gvardiol starts. Thank you, James B, for sharing that. Liam H says, why play Watkins over Maddison if you don't think Villa will score? Because I'm very conscious that I could be wrong. We had a big discussion yesterday in terms of the variations that, as I already said, Suj thinks Villa go down and win 3-1. I don't think I can forgive myself if I'm wrong on that prediction and Watkins goes off. Whereas if Maddison goes off, I'm happy, right? I'm happy. Whatever happens, I'm happy. Atul Balaji says, just joining in, James. Is this the first time a Wolves player on your thumbnail in 3 years? Good luck for the week and hope Harry is doing great. No, it's not the first time. But I did it because I couldn't think at all when again I'd get the chance to do it again. So that's why I did it. And somebody did ask about him. Khalid O says, I have Haaland, Foden and Ederson. Shall I follow the herd and do Jackson to Alvarez even though I will be minus as I have to sell Ederson? Nah, leave yourself be, mate. Although I can't stand Ederson as an asset, as I tell someone every week. Henry says, is Harry named after Harry Kane? He's named after, partly, yes, my middle name is Harry. That's named after my grandfather. And if you want more information on that, my patrons will happily share that with you. Aston Villa Bozzy says, Diaz, Vardy, Doku, Foden, Alvarez and Haaland start. So he's saying Doku starts as well. Patrons, have we got anything confirmed on Doku? And that's not for my benefit, it's for everybody else's benefit. Welcome to Brella, says cash or me. Start Ben May. Wildcard in cash, probably. Mufasa says, hi Harry, have a great time with your dad. He's a hell of a guy, isn't he, Joss? Swizz says, Morris or Bowen. I'd start Morris this week, I guess. Many Ahmed says, start Sterling or Pedro. Sterling. Teddy says, hi James, bench Sterling or Diogo Jota. Well, Sterling, I know, is going to start. There's your answer. Owen Jones says, considering Stupinan to Doggy in game week 7, 2 free transfers, already good side prepping for 8. How many clean sheets do you think Spurs get between 6 and 11? 2. Maynak says, hey James, should I hold Isak? I feel like I answered this for someone else a little while ago. So now we've got to the good fixtures. I think he starts tomorrow. So my answer would be yes, but I'm in a minority. Most people seem to think Wilson's playing tomorrow. Alexander Kafamil says, thanks James, keep up the great effort, you're very welcome. Sahil says, Salah in for Eze question, Sterling question, Foden question, Maddison question for -4. Well, if you're that unsure of which one you're selling, nah, leave it be, mate. Leave it be. You ain't going to stick the armband on Mo anyway. Leave it be. See if you can come back to that for free next week or the week after. Kia Morrison says, Kia ora, James. Kia ora is just hello in Maori. Okay, thank you. I've got to be careful when I don't know what things mean because people might be trying to make me say something that's a bit rude, right? Indigenous people of New Zealand. Okay. Bums have an orange drink of the same name. Yes, of course, yes. Can also be used as thanks. So Kia ora, James. Kia, brilliant work. Kia ora, Kia. Hamden Hopeful says, play Elliot, Anderson or Archer. Got Botman. Me, I'd go Archer. Forward. Do we even know who's on the pens for Sheffield United? Daniel Lunch says, the Brighton defender. Yeah, I got that eventually, mate. Sydney says, Saliba or Kabore. Saliba. Maynak says, Chilwell to Region. Sure, blow up your team. Relic Return says, Rico Lewis news. Not had anything on that specifically. No, it's an option. Ashish says, start Son or Cash. Start Sonny, mate. Start Sonny. You don't leave a player like Heung-min Son out if you've got, he says, leaving James Maddison out. But you know what I mean? Son's capable of the mad one on the counter, right? Harry, can you turn it down, please? Thank you, mate. Right, that's questions up to date. So if anyone wants to go really fast and throw something in, we're on. We're about a minute to deadline, guys. So throw something in if you've got it. Otherwise, lock your teams in, kids. Absolutely. FPL Gold Galazzo says, your FPL advisor legends. I try. Aston Villa Bozzy says, Van Heck Brighton. We've been over this already, haven't we? XNSJWNSKWSZ. Hi, James. Bench Cash or Van Hockey? Bench Cash. Ian PTSB. Heisenberg said, Doku will start. Thank you. Atul Balaji says, Harry's such a good lad for actually turning down the volume. Yeah, he's on it, mate. Swiss says, should I transfer Jackson to Hoyland? No. Zakara says, Chilwell, Akanji, Stupinan, Botman, bench 1. Well, Chilwell. The Waddler GG says, thank you for the stream, James. Very welcome. RBKK2009, Jimenez starting. I would have thought so, but there's a lot in Fulham quarters think that Carlos Vinicius may get the nod. Liam H says, greatest player to play in the MLS other than Messi is Robbie Keane. That was good, wasn't it? Sean says, have you got a wildcard plan in mind yet? Yeah, loosely. 18 maybe. Daniel Cullerton says, who do you think is the next bandwagon? Ollie Watkins. Mr. Dyer says, is it true that there is a buyback clause in Harry Kane contract for Tottenham? Well, that's what Daniel Levy said, mate. So, yeah. Mufasa says, who do you have planned with your little man over the next few days? Hope you have a great time. I'll come back to that in a second. Andrew Gonin says, play both Cash and Gusto hoping for 0-0. Bench 1 for a doggy. No, I'd play them both. We are on deadline. If anyone's got any non-FPL questions, throw them in the chat. I'm happy to stay for 15 minutes maximum. So, if I don't cover your question by 1:45, apologies. But if you came just for the FPL, you're locked in. Smash a like. Hit the sub button. We'll be back on Monday. Gameweek review podcast this week is going to be on Tuesday. There is no way I can make the Gameweek review podcast work on Monday and look after this little boy. So while he's in school for the morning, I'll be recording with Neil Grover and Adam Pritchard, and we'll get that out straight for you Monday lunchtime-ish. Bournemouth versus Arsenal clash to correspondence. So just then be back with me for the Game Review podcast on Tuesday. Wednesday will be Sky Fantasy Football. Thursday, the clash to correspondence you really want next week. It's Dan Ashby and Jack Toner, Luton Town versus Burnley. Clash of correspondence on Thursday ahead of the Game Week 7 double. And Friday, Lauren Harris, our new women's football correspondent, is joining me for a preview of the Women's Super League that kicks off. I'm pretty sure it's next weekend. If you want to support the show, it's www.patreon.com/Planet FPL. Our podcast next week will include a Q&A on Monday. I'll be doing an Ask James stream for patrons on Tuesday. Wednesday will be Tottenham. Thursday will be Money in Football, subject to be confirmed. And Friday will be our Game Week 7 preview show. There will be additional video and audio content for advanced tier patrons throughout the week as well. If you want to support the show, it's www.patreon.com/Planet FPL. Do it because you want to support the show. Mufasa says, what do you have planned with your little man over the next few days? Hope you have a good time. So I'm going to take him out as soon as I finish this. I'm going to take him down to Tottenham. I'm going to take him to the shop. I'm going to take him to Bruce Castle Park because there's a nice big slide in there, and he's never been there before actually. So take him now, and I can take him down to Tottenham without the wife being there. Have a look around the shop. Like I said, I might buy him the away shirt. Even he won't want it, but I might buy it for him anyway. Then we'll come home, or we might go for dinner first. I'm going to record Brentford Everton, so I'll probably end up watching the games later on tonight and stuff. We'll either come back and we might treat ourselves to a takeaway, or more likely we'll stop somewhere and go for dinner together. Tomorrow we're going to go out early. I'm going to head towards Arsenal Manor actually. Station is part I used to go to when I was a kid. I intended to take him now, and then I'm going to go out for lunch or late breakfast, and then I'm going to go to mum and dad's, watch the game, and depending on the result depends how soon I leave. So probably 4:00, and then Monday he'll have school in the morning. I'll pick him up at like 1:00. We hope he's going to be going full time the week after, and then his mum should be back about 6 or 7 o'clock, I think, on Monday night. So yeah, good. He's good. Harry, do Do you want to come and say hello? Harry? Do you want chocolate? Harry, do you want chocolate? Come here. Chocolate in a minute, but first, you got to come and say hello to my friends. Look, where's Harry? Can you see Harry? There's Harry. Can you say hello?
Hello.
Good boy. Chocolate, 10 minutes. Daddy promises. Bribery. It works. Jack Walker says, do you have a ticket for Arsenal away tomorrow? No, I could have got one, obviously, but with the wife away this weekend, it was... I could have still gone. I could have left him with his nan for 5 hours or so, but I wasn't too comfortable with that, to be honest. Not that she's incapable, it's just being at North London Derby, being responsible for your son and being away for 5 hours. I wouldn't have drunk or anything, obviously, but no, I wasn't comfortable with the idea of it. Liam H says, have you done the Skywalk yet? No. I skipped a few questions here, didn't I? Sorry. Navin says, hi James, outside of FPL, what's your opinion? I will do the Skywalk though. At some point, I'll shit myself though. Navin says, hi James, outside of FPL, what's your opinion on the Ramsdale Raya situation? Heard the debate between Schmeichel and Carragher. I think Arteta prefers Raya, but just playing it down. Yep, that's probable. That's probable, yeah. You want toilet? Oh, you want chocolate? Alright, sod it. Hang on.
Fantastic.
What's Daddy got?
We got the chocolate. No.
Want a bit of chocolate?
Yeah.
Who's going to have it? Harry or Daddy? Harry. Oh, is that not enough? I want some now. Alexander says, good luck on Gameweek, James. Burger or pizza? Pick one. Burger. You back for more already?
More.
Okay, come here. Come here. Harry, come here. This side. Come this side for Daddy, please. Can you come this side? Come here. Come here. All right. I need you to tell all my listeners, what's the magic word?
Please.
Please is the correct word. Well done. Thank you. The rest is going to go hiding, or your mum will kill me. He's smart, though. He picked that out yesterday. He's like, yeah, I'll have the biggest chocolate bar possible would be the one, mate. Nick says, what do you make of the results for the English teams in midweek? Not great. Villa lost, Brighton lost, Liverpool had sticky moments. West Ham were always likely to win, had a lot of the ball. Champions League, United losing fairly standard. Great result for Newcastle. Performance could have been better, but I don't think they'll care. Good result for Arsenal, obviously. City standard, despite giving themselves a moment. Zenok says, thoughts on Dunk potential injury in Sky FF. We'll deal with that tomorrow, mate. And as I said earlier in the stream, I've not thought about it too much. Sean says, non-FPL, how does this circus stop at United aside from the ownership? I thought we'd kick on a bit further this season, not challenging for the title. It's looking very bleak right now. Bleak might be a bit OTT, but I get the sentiment. I think the frustration's coming in now with the likes of what Postecoglou's done at Tottenham, the way Brighton play under Zerbi, and people be going, oh, come on, where's this brand of football that we was promised? And I get it. And it's not to say, I've had a few people say to me, well, Man United shouldn't change man. I'm not saying Man United change man. I'm not at all. But there's question marks. He's obviously not been helped at all by what you said. Circus is the right word for all the off-field stuff. I'm not convinced that Ten Hag handled the Sancho situation that well, to be totally honest. I mean, that's probably left a few players with kind of a bit indecisive about him. It's probably caused a little bit of a split. So, look, there's a really good run of fixtures. Let's see. Let's give United the next 4 games or so, and let's see. If United don't do well in them, problem.
Yeah.
I do think United will win comfortably tonight, to be honest.
Oh.
Voice says, if Spurs score a 90 plus 14 winner tomorrow, which player would you want to do so? What's the matter, mate? Yeah, it's gone. It's finished. Hiding. If Spurs score a 90 plus 14 minute winner tomorrow, which player would you want to? Which player would you want to do so? I'm gonna say Declan Rice own goal. Atul Balaji says, I'm feeling a 4-1 Spurs win, the classic 1-0 Luton win today. What are you on, mate, about Spurs winning 4-1 tomorrow? Jesus, God. We're all going a little bit over the top, guys, honestly. The 5 fixtures we've had have been very suitable for us. We're going a little over the top. It's not that we can't win tomorrow. I've said that. We can. This idea that we're going to go there and blitz Arsenal, it's no chance. It's no chance. Please, if it happens, feel free to meme me every minute of the day all week long. Aston Villa Bozzy says, Villa have only not scored in one game under Emery, away at Liverpool. We will defo score versus Chelsea, who won 2-0 last year away. I can't say I believe that makes your statistics wrong, because you also failed to score at Wolves, I think in Gameweek 35 last year as well. So there's 2 games, mate. Daniel Cullerton says that it's 2 away games out of the last 4 or 5? Daniel Cullerton says, in all your years supporting Spurs, what's the most uninterested you've been going to the games? What manager, etc.? Mourinho. Oh, my God. But fortunately, it's COVID period as well, so... But yeah, even just before COVID, it was like, what is this already? A few months in. So, yeah, that. Although, to be honest, sort of the end of last season was pretty bleak as well. Kind of end of AVB's tenure was really bad in terms of just boring numbness. But yeah, the worst of the lot from that perspective was Mourinho. Neil Kager wants to say hello to you, Harry. James Brennan says, any recommendations for away fan pubs in Burnley? No, not as such. I can't remember the name of the one they recommend. I would have gone somewhere with Jack where he'd have been able to get us in, but wasn't able to do it. I don't think the majority are avoidable. I think it's worth saying, so you should listen to an official fan advice, or give Jack Toner. If you give Turfy Topper a DM, he'll advise. It'll be open for you, mate. Sammy says, hello, Harry. Andrew Gonya, how jealous of that hair are you? Massively. I'm really not. I'd look ridiculous. Grant, Miyaka69, love it. Mufasa, hi, Harry. Hope school's been good for you. They're all talking to you, Harry. Adam says, hi, James. It's not a good habit to promise cheer late and don't make it. Don't forget to give him the I've done it, mate. I've done it. Atul says, I love Ange. He's such a good role model in this sport, and I love it, especially since it's littered with people who are not so great role models as people. Sammy says, kids don't forget that easy. No, obviously not. Relic returns Planet Daycare. Atul says, Harry's a smart kid, knows that you'll forget later and wants to get paid up front. Much respect and love. James Brennan says, you should do a Planet FPL Harry's Choice quiz of you guessing cartoon characters. We could maybe make that sort of thing happen at some point. George Kenny is giving it the laughing. Mr. Tool says, best replacement for Bernardo Silva in Sky. Rodri, if you don't have, for whatever reason, genuinely, possibly not affordable. I forget what Silva's price is. It's in the 8-ish range, isn't he? So, as ever, I think ideally, unless you want a City player, it's probably wait till tomorrow, just in case you have a different problem unfold today. But I think there's, Silva, Maddison, arguably, if it's affordable, because it's kind of the entry point if you want a captain against Luton. Declan Rice tomorrow maybe might be another one to consider. I think there's a few options. Come down to Bissouma if you want to move on to something else, for example. FPL Gold Galazzo says, good luck against the Gooners, and Mr. Tool says, enjoy your weekend. Thank you all very, very much. I'm going to disappear and take this little man out. Thanks, Anish. Apparently we have another injury in our squad, Arsenal. Not sure if it's a first team player, but didn't mention same source that leaked party injury first. Well, I hope it's Saka. because he's the player that bothers me the most. Mufasa says, how good is Ange? Genuine Aussie bloke. That coming from fellow Aussie. He's great, mate. Yogish says, what is that sound? Is that a cat? No, mate, it's my 4-year-old son. His balls haven't dropped yet. Right, we're going to leave it there. Clash of Correspondence Monday, as said. Game review on Tuesday. Smash a like. Enjoy the football this weekend. Can you Spurs? Ciao for now, everyone.